Hello, I'm Kim Sauer at Apex 2016 in Las Vegas. I'm joined today by John Hasselmann from the IPC. Now, John, great to see you here. Thank you for taking the time. You're probably really busy going around the show floor as well. Now, you're responsible for government relations, so give us a little bit of a background as to what your remit is. What do you do?
I came on board with IPC about 3 years ago as their first vice president of government relations after spending about 13 years in the software industry as a senior lobbyist for a lot of the big software companies. And it was an opportunity to help grow our government relations program and bring more of a significant voice to Washington and to other markets like Brussels or Asia. Mm-hmm. And so we look and analyze at various public policy, legislative vehicles that have impact on our industry, whether it's bills or regulations.
Mm-hmm. And there are lots of regulations that drive our industry.
Yes.
I mean,
it's important to be involved.
Exactly. So if we're looking at the environmental policies, the standards that we're looking at, and etc. So I mean, it's not an easy job for you, is it?
No, it's not. But IPC and our team and the people that are on staff, I mean, we have such great people with great expertise in these areas that when IPC is asked or when we need to advocate on a piece of legislation or on a regulation, we can really bring some good research and data on the issue. If it's standards or on the environmental regulations or whether it's on export controls or, we have good data that supports that. And that's what our goal is.
Absolutely. So you're obviously working very closely with the various governments around the world and the influencers for the industry, but also very closely with the actual players within the industry.
Yes.
How do you balance that?
I always say when you work for a trade association, you have like three constituencies. You have your members, you have the policymakers, and then you have sort of your internal constituency, my boss, for example. And so it's always a juggling act. But our members, our member companies, they're our fiercest advocates. When their voice is united, and we are united around a specific issue, I mean, that's a lot of power there. If it's being directed correctly and being able to communicate our policies and what we are trying to advocate for correctly.
Absolutely. Now, we live in a volatile world. There's a lot going on here in the States. Elections, there's European elections coming up in Germany, there's all of the Brexit, as we call it in the UK. Are we staying in, are we not, type of thing. So there's always changes going on. Does that make your role even more challenging?
Oh, definitely. I think trying to keep up to speed on these on the political side is something that's very important. We want to make sure that from the U.S. perspective, for example, we are bipartisan in terms of who we work with in Congress. If we have a footprint in every state, we have members in every state, so that when we go in and talk to a policymaker in Congress, we can say who's the constituent. So I think that what's happening in Germany, it's somewhat similar that's happening here. You have the left and the right sort of rising, and there's a lot of anti-trade debate going on, and whether that's good for manufacturing. And we need to be aware of those debates and figure out how that's going to be impacted on us, on IPC and our members.
Okay, interesting. And obviously the industry is very involved with the IPC already. If somebody wants to get even more involved, what sort of help, what sort of challenges are you facing to get people on board?
Well, we have to continue to talk about what we do, and I think, and show value, and talk about some of our successes, and it's a grassroots. I mean, we've over 3,000 members, I believe, of IPC. So we need to really harness that from an advocacy perspective, whether those members are in the EU or in the US or China. And so what we're trying to do is communicate more about what we're doing. In the U.S., for example, we started a Meet the Policymaker program where we're trying to connect members of Congress to the facilities in those districts, and we've done over 30 of these visits in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And that's just building a relationship with these policymakers, and it's building trust. So when some of these complicated issues come across, like some environmental regulation or a bill that's going to impact manufacturing, we should call IPC. You need to be at the table, and that's what our goal is to be at the table. Someone had told me this wonderful quote, and I don't know who to attribute it to. If you're not at the table, you're going to be on the table, and that's not good. Yeah. We want to be at the table at the beginning and be at the forefront of the issue, not coming in at the end.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Again, very interesting and great success for the rest of the show and your work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.